Hi everyone, I'm Hamdullah and you're watching Trendsetters Academy. So today in this lecture I will tell you about how we use this authentication and real-time database, and we'll code this thing and we'll create some awesome registration form and sign-in form. Okay, so what you will learn in these things here, let me show you. So today in this lecture you will learn the first thing here is how to create Firebase ID, and the second thing here is Firebase console, how this Firebase console works. The third thing here is how to integrate Firebase with Android. So you will see how I will do this thing. The fourth thing here is how we create user authentication and then work with the real-time database, and whole lecture what really it covers this question, how we create user registration and sign in using Firebase. So how this Firebase is working there. So my main goal and my main topic here is user authentication. So I'm just using this module user authentication here, how this authentication works, and this will intro with real-time database. So you will see here how these two things are working there, as most and millions of applications are using these authentications. Like authentication is an important thing as a security base. So let's see how this thing is working. First we will see as a new user I have to create my ID. So how I do this thing, so you just go on firebase and what you will see, just click on the sign button, and what you will do there, so what you will do here, if you have an ID here, if you have an ID of Google, okay, just remember the thing, if you have an ID of Google, just sign in and just go on with this thing. Okay, at first you must create your Google ID. So just write your name here, the first name, the last name, and your username that is of Google. Okay, and then just click on next and just go on with the thing. So I already created my ID, and now I just sign in, and now let's go with the next thing, how the other thing is going on. So here is my ID, BMX, my username, and now let's see, just go on the console button. Your first thing is done, and now just go on console, and you'll see there how this console is working. So right now what I'm just again saying, like, it's about the user authentication and real-time database. So I'm just using these two modules. Okay, so when you just click on console window, console link, okay, so here what you really do, you will see these projects there. Okay, and when you will see these projects, if you already created, that's fine, but you are the new here and there is nothing displayed here. Okay, so what you really do, just click on add project button. Okay, and when you click on add project button, what you will do, you just write your project name here, like my awesome test project. Okay, so when you click on this button, what it do, just create some ID there for storing it in Google server somewhere else. So we really don't need to care about this thing. So here is, I'm selecting Pakistan, and I just click on I received, and I will say just create my project. So now this thing is creating your project, and now this thing is going on and creating your project and creating modules there. And now what you're really going to do is some basic awesome things there. So now this thing is done, just click on the continue button, and now just wait for a while, and you will see here this is our console. And what you really do, iOS or Android or web, what really your application is. So right now I'm just developing an app for Android, so I just click on Android. When I click on Android button, what it happened, the thing asking me Android package name. So what I really need to write here, so just go in Android Studio, just open the project what you really need to create, just new project or whatever. Let me show you. Just go in file, just click on new button, and just click on new project. Okay, when you click on the new project, okay, this is your domain, this is your file name. Okay, just copy this file name and just go on with this Android package name. So this is your package name. Okay, whatever you want to write the package name there. Okay, and just go on with the next and just clear and just create your application. Okay, so I already created my application, so just go on with this thing. And then what it happen, now we will see how we are creating this application there. And now what really the other thing here is, when you just write your application, let me write my application uh, where's my activity here? Let me write my package name here, and I will see how this thing is working. Okay, so let's see how this thing is going on here. And I just copy my package name and I just paste it here. Okay, and if you really need to write your some application nickname, okay, registration, and I just click on register. And what it happened here, it will know this thing. Now Google is guiding me and telling me what I really need to do to connect my Android with Firebase, how this thing is going to work. So let's see how this thing is working. The first thing here is, when you register your app, you have to download this configuration file. Just click on this button and you will download. You just download your register this JSON file. Okay, and when you just download this JSON file, just copy this JSON file. And what it happened here, just copy this JSON file, and what it tell us that there's an app folder, and just paste that JSON file there. Okay, and just copy that JSON file and just go on with in your links, where's your project is. Just figure out the thing here. My project is the Android project, C# projects, and then NU journal. Here is my project. Let me go towards my project. So here I just reached my project here, NU journal, and in app folder, let me show you again, NU journal, this is my project, and there is an app package. I just double click and open it, and here I paste this Google service JSON. So what what will do next, we'll see. The next thing here is, when I just done this thing, I just click on the next button, and what this thing is telling me, now you have two things. Just remember, there are two Gradles. Okay, the project Gradle and module Gradle. So in your project Gradle, just copy this line, just copies these lines and paste them as this thing is saying, and then it's a just click on sync now button. Okay, this thing is fine. But what I do, I already created this thing, and I really don't need these things. But what I really do is, I just there are some different versions are available there. So my version here is GMS Google Service 3.0.0. Okay, and you can use this version. Okay, so here my Android version is 3.0.1. okay, my Android version is 3.0.1, and right now I'm using Google services version is 3.0.0. okay, so here this thing is telling me there are some service version 3.3.1. so you can use this version if this is available for you. It's like, if this is suitable for you, you can use it. But here I'm using this, so it's up to you. You can use this version or either that version. Okay, there are some other Firebase core thing available there, like Firebase core 15.0.2, but here I'm using a different version. So I'm going to show you what I'm really using. I'm using 12.0.1 and 12.0.1 Firebase Authentication and Firebase database. Just focus on these things, don't worry about the other things, what really other things are. Just the thing that I highlighted here are the thing we really focusing on. What we're really telling is the Firebase database and Firebase authentication. So here that thing is that how we add the plugin. So when we do this thing, add these all things, just click on the sync button. Let me show you. Here is the sync button. When you just change anything in your project, in your Gradle file, what it happens, there is a sync button. When you click on this sync button, what it happens, it just sync your Gradle with your whole project. Okay, so when this thing is done, what you will really need to do, when just click on the next button, and now this thing is saying run your app to verify installation. So you just go on and run like you didn't do any sort of code there. Okay, it's fine with the thing, you may run it or you may skip it, it's up to you. Okay, when you just done this thing, what it happened here, it just creates some registration, and what you do here, it just show you some awesome analytics. Okay, so here are our analytics, and now what we really need to do is we are going to do authentication and database. So for authentication, what we need to do here is, there is a sign in method. Just click on the sign in method and enable this email, like you have to enable this email. Okay, so just enable it and save it, And when you done this thing, what you really need to do other things, just what you want. You want to sign in using Google, you want to sign in using games, play games, you want it using Facebook, whatever you want, it's up to you. So right now I'm going to enable this. Okay, so now what it happened, the thing here is, so what I really need to do here is I want to add the things here. So how I do this thing? Okay, so let's come towards the authentication. Let me tell you about the database there and these things from the Firebase. When the Firebase thing is done, then we will move towards the code thing and we will go. Okay, so here is my real-time database. Just click on the real-time database and it will say how you can use it. Okay, just click on enable button, and what it just enable you the thing here. So now this is our frame where our trees are enabled. So here it shows this is a null thing here. Okay, fine with the thing. So let's see what the other rules are available here. We have to change the rules here. Okay, we really need to change the rules. So here it reads false and write false. Okay, fine with the thing, we'll see what really things are going on. And now what I'm going to do, I created these things and now I'm just switching my project. Okay, that I already created. Okay, no issue with the thing, don't worry about anything. So here is the project that I already created by using these things. Okay, and now we'll see how the things are going on here and what really things are there. uh let's see. Okay, awesome. There are some rules or changes. So these are your security rules are defined as public, anyone can read or write. No issue with the thing, I really don't write any sort of confidential data. So just change your false into true. Okay, just change your false into true. So these are the rules here. Okay, and here is our authentication thing. What really authentication is, I just registered two users here, so it creates user ID, sign in, created, provided, or whatever identification and blah blah. So now let's move toward the code, how this thing is working. So dear friends, just don't worry about the thing. This lecture is quite long, I know about this, but after this lecture you will learn about authentication, how this really authentication is working. So just stay with me and don't forget to subscribe. So let's start the code. So the thing here is, when you complete your Gradle thing, when you complete your this thing Gradles and build or Gradle thing here, what you really need to do next thing here is just go and manifest file and add this internet permission, because this is the real important thing here. Like, you are giving permission to your application that you really need. What you really need is you really need internet. So at first I am going to create some registration form. Okay, so I already created my registered form and I will show you here what really these things are present in my registered form. This is my label button. Oh sorry, this is my label and this is my edit text fields. Okay, my display name, email and password, and there is a register button and there's cancel button. So there's no need to describe what really these things are. You can change your text formation or whatever the other things are there. So what we really need is this register button. What really happened in this, when I click on this register button, what it happened? So let's move toward the code. So what really behind this, what really the story behind this register button? So there is my register activity, and what I do here is I'm just focusing on my register button. So here is my register button. Okay, so this is my register button and I'm saying that find this register button from that ID, and it just show that this is the button. So when I click on register button, what it happens, it invoke this method on register user. So this register user method is present here. You will see there this register user method is present here. So don't worry about this thing, I just comment about the whole things. It's like authentications, like if your username or password field is empty, so how it behaves and how it reacts. So right now this thing is so simple. Like, if you didn't write the name, fine with the thing. Okay, so what it do here is just get the user email and get user password here. Okay, So from where this thing is getting this thing, let me show you. I hope this thing is working. So what you do here, okay, so in register activity, what it do here, you are getting your email and getting your password from where, from your this layout, okay, from your this, wait, sorry with the thing, from this register activity, you just getting these text fields, getting text display name and email address and password. So you are getting email address and password from these fields, okay, from these fields you are getting this email address and password from these fields. And here are the thing, you are getting your password, your registration name and your email address and your password, and you are passing these methods, okay, you are just calling these methods. And here the thing, like where we are going to do, here is the method, you are calling sign up method and you are passing get user email and get user password, okay. So this email and password you can pass these things there. And now what you will going to do is just click on sign up and you will see here we receive email and password here. And what we are going to do, we are, there is some authentication, mauth is the variable Firebase authentication, okay. I really need Firebase authentication here and database references, so I just add Firebase authentication here. So what it happen here is when I just click on this sign up button, what it happen is I just call this method and email and password is passed to this method. And what it's next the thing happen is, so this Firebase authentication stores a method named create users with email and password and passes email and password, okay. So right now this thing is creating user with email and password, we will see here. So you are seeing in Firebase authentication this task is going on and there is a method present which really this is the method that present in Firebase authentication. So in Firebase authentication it pass the email and password and it adds on complete listener, this is a method there. So what it happen is it just add the new user what really the user is, and it just dismiss the alert log when the thing is complete. So let's see if the task is successful, okay. So this thing is happen, like if this thing is successful, what you do, just when you click on authentication success, it will say you Firebase user, it just pass the Firebase user, you will see here. If the task is successful on authentication success, so when your authentication is success, this means the registration is complete. So what it happened here is task dot get result dot get user, so this thing is getting the user and get this thing, okay. So what really this task is here, so this task is coming from this your overridden method that is present in Firebase authentication. So it provides the task and you are getting the result from and get the users there, fine with this thing. And what we really do next, in authentication success Firebase users, you are creating new user and you are getting user Firebase user, you are getting user ID, and then go to main activity. So how you are creating the new user ID, so here is the thing, like in new user method you are passing user ID and then there's a class there user and you are creating a build new user. So in database Firebase database, okay, there is a child named users, you put the name users and you say dot child user ID dot set value user. So this means there is a child there, and let me show you. So now this thing is working in database, and what it do here is let's see this thing, it might be clear here and you'll see the thing. So here my main thing here is user, so this is the child of NU journal, this is the main project here, there is a child and in this child these are the sub childs here, okay. So this is my first this is the first child here and this is the second child here, okay. So these two things are adding by using this thing, okay. So this user is adding by this thing, okay. So now let's see what really these this method is. So here is build new user method. Build new user method present here, like you are creating new user and you are passing some parameters here. And what really these parameters are, you are getting display the name, you are getting user email, you are getting is it online or offline, you are generating random avatar for users and new date time. Okay, so you are seeing these things here. These are 1 2 3 4 5, and let's see what really these things are here. Okay, so when you see these things 1 2 3 4 5, so are you seeing these things? These things are coming from this code. Okay, and now what we're really going to do is just returning the user. So there's a class named user, so you have to create another class for users. Okay, so the thing about registration is complete here, like we just go on the thing, there's nothing remain. Okay, so authentication is complete, like Firebase authentication is complete about the thing. I will share my code in my description, and you will see there how this thing is working. So now let's see what the other thing is going on, what really this user is. When you click on the user, you have to create this simple setter gather type methods. Okay, so these things are like you are getting the user or what you really need to display the thing. So a user, what really a user have, a user must have display the name, must have email, must have connection, is it online or offline, integer avatar ID, like you want to display the picture, and created when this user is created, that time displays. So there's string represents an ID. Okay, so what really, so this is the user, the data is passing here. Okay, so this is just empty, just remove this thing, no issue with the thing. Okay, so this is the thing here, just pass the data there, and what it happen next, and this is some chat creation, just forget about this thing. Okay, and what it just returning you the getters method, like you are getting the created ID, or what are getting the email, getting display name, or whatever the other connections there. Okay, so these are about the setters and getter methods. I hope this thing is fine. If there is any issue, do comment or do message me, I will answer it. So let's move towards the login method, what really thing is happened. So this is all about the registration there, how this registration is working. Okay, so it stores in database and in authentication. So what it happen when I click on login and enter this email and password, and then go on with the thing, and let's see how this mechanism is working. So here is my activity of login. I didn't create any sort of some fancy stuff. I just write an email, password, and login button there, nothing else. So here is text and your journal, some headings, and there is an email, password, login button, and register button. That's it. So we saw the thing about the registration, how the registration is working. So now let's move toward the login, how this login thing is working. Okay, so for login, what I really create here is there is a login activity here in my login. Let's see, there is my login activity here, and what I really need to do, at first I have to create a connection with Firebase. As I create a connection in registration, the same thing happens here. So you are seeing here there is a single Firebase authentication. Okay, so Firebase authentication is there. There are some buttons, user, email, password, and alert dialog. Okay, so if you want to make it more simple, just forget about this alert dialog and forget about anything what you really need. So let's see, when I click on login button, what it happen when I click on login button, there is a login user method. So I created a login user method here, and when I click on this login button, this login user method invoke, and what it happen, if your email or password is empty, it will alert opens a dialog, and if the thing is going fine, what it happen, it just the same mechanism is going on here, like you are getting user email and user password from where, from your edit text fields. Okay, so you can directly write it here. It's quite little bit tricky, or you can say like when you click on user get user email or get user password, you will see user email, you are getting user email and string, and just trim the thing there and just return it towards the sign in method. Okay, so this thing is working like this. And when I click on this login method, what it happened here is it will just show me alert dialog, and it shows that the thing is login. Okay, and what it happened next is the same mechanism. There's a Firebase authentication, the method is present there, sign in with email and password. Just remember the thing, what really the awesome Firebase thing here is, this is my register activity, and when I click on register, what there the method is present there, which say create user with email and password. Okay, and you're passing just email and password, and just said add on complete listener. And here is another awesome thing, when you are want to create some login form, so how this authentication works, sign in with email and password. So these are the two methods, like you are using the most important, the most key methods here are sign in with email and password for login, and for registration you are getting create user with email and password. So when you go on login, just put the email and password and chat dot add on complete listener. So what it do, it just add your thing there, the same thing happening there, like it just go on in the background of this sign in with email and password, and will check the authentications, what really is this email and password is correct, is this email and password is present. So it just remove that log, and if the task is successful, it will show you and go towards the main activity, what really the next activity is there. Okay, you can use the intent method here, it really creates an intent method, and if the password or that thing, password or your email is false, so it generates the alert dialog, and it just show the exception here, and exception is coming from this task, so the data is passing from this method. Okay, so if your task is successful, your username and email and password is exist in this sign in method, in this authentication Firebase authentication database is your, if this thing is present there, then fine with the thing, and you can go towards the main activity, and there you can provide your intent or whatever the other things are there. So this is about your uh, uh, this is about your registration and login form. So Firebase made our life so easy by using these things. Okay, so I will provide you the code just in these three classes, so don't worry about the other things there, we will discuss the later, we will discuss these things later. And in my later lectures, we will create some awesome chat application with sharing and something like WhatsApp or Skype or something like that. So I already created my application there, you can find my application in my videos, and you will see there, there are some theory things present there, and there are some lectures about Android. Okay, you can see these things, and there are some lectures present here, Firebase with quick blocks, chatting and video calling. So you can see this, how this thing is working, and there are some modules, some screens are present there, and you will see how these things are awesome working, and that's, this thing is really working. I already have this project, but and we will create this project here. So don't forget to subscribe and be with me. I hope for happy coding. Bye bye, tada, meet you in next lecture, and we'll see next there how this thing is going on. Okay, so fine with this thing, and just go on with the thing, and I hope we'll find a better future. That's awesome. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.